Hi, I'm Marlo from Wild Food UK. I'm not out foraging again today. I'm in my garden, and this is one of the few times that I have been upset to find a mushroom. I'm going to show you that mushroom right now. So come over here, Attila. This I certainly wasn't expecting to find in June, because normally this genus of mushrooms fruits much later in the year, but what we've got here is quite clearly one of the honey fungus. There are gills to this mushroom hidden underneath that yellow skirt there, as you can see. Now, if I'd let this mushroom mature, it would have grown to a cap possibly 15 centimeters in diameter, and that would have left that yellow skirt very close to the top of the stipe or stem of this mushroom. It is an edible fungus for most people. It does, though, make some people a little bit poorly, a little bit sick. So the first time you eat honey fungus, you should only eat a small portion and find out if you're going to react in any bad ways to the honey fungus before you eat a large portion. You can tell, though, there's a bit of a somber tone in my voice, and that's because this honey fungus, which is fruiting out of season, as I've said, is growing on my lovely big apple tree. I was here clearing the area because one of the branches had broken, and I was going to drop that branch, but now, unfortunately, I fear I might have to drop the whole tree. This is not the only fungal infection that the tree has got. Last autumn, I saw some shaggy foliotas growing out of the base of this tree as well, and they're a mushroom that attacks trees and can cause white rot. But this honey fungus is a much more serious infection. This is a necrotrophic parasite mushroom, which will then become a saprotrophic mushroom. So what it will do is get into the tree and it will kill the tree. But depending on the species of tree, that will happen over a different period of years. If it gets into a birch tree, it will kill a birch tree quite quickly, and unfortunately I've got a birch tree not too far away. If it gets into an oak tree can live with this fungus for quite a few years if it's a big mature oak tree. But this apple tree was clearly looking unhealthy, and I was clearing the area around it so that I could drop the dead branches. If you pan up to the canopy, though, you'll see that the canopy is particularly sparse. Not much greenery up there. There are one or two apples on it. But now that I've seen the honey fungus, I really don't think that I've got many options apart from to take the whole tree down, because we're not far from my greenhouse, another little outbuilding there, and any of these branches could come down because of the infection that the tree has got. So it's become possibly slightly dangerous, amongst other things. Now, honey fungus, this one, I believe, because of the dark nature of the cap there, is probably dark honey fungus, Armillaria ostoi. Particularly interesting species of fungus, because it's the largest known species of fungus on the planet. There's one in Oregon in the United States, and it's been named the humongous fungus because apparently it covers more than 2,000 acres in area underground. They've tested the mycelium of the mushroom in different areas and found it to be the same exact fungus growing all over that area. So it's a mushroom that can grow huge and live for potentially thousands of years. So an amazing fungus, but it's not good for my trees around here, or any of the woody perennials around here. There's a dead apple tree just behind Attila, the cameraman, right now, and I think that this might have been the reason that that one's gone. And now I'm worried about my plum trees just over there, and the birch tree just over there. So from a gardener's point of view, this is not a good thing to see. I would dearly like to save this tree though. It's got some young fresh growth just here, as you can see, and in a few other parts. But I'm a forager, not a horticulturalist, so I've got my horticulturalist friend Richard here to give me a bit of extra advice. So come on over, Richard.
Hello.
This is Richard Marchant. He's been a horticulturalist for 20 years, and he knows a bit more about gardening than I do. So we've seen the honey fungus on the tree here, Richard. What's your prognosis for this tree?
Yeah, it's a shame to see this. I think it's basically it's going to be on its way out now. It's just, I think it's got to be chopped down.
If you saw this in one of your customers' gardens, would you just have the whole thing out?
I think as we can see, it's already got dead branches, so it's quite well established. And I think, yeah, the safest thing would be to take it out and try and reduce any possible spread, if it is, because it will.
The spread of the mushroom. So this mushroom, I'm going to drop in a photo now and show you. This mushroom doesn't just reproduce or spread through spores, it also has what are called rhizomorphs, these kind of knotted mycelial cords. So there's a photo on the screen now of those mycelial cords, and they can spread underground through the soil and get to other woody perennials in the area quite easily. And as I've already said, it can grow quite large. So would you remove the tree and the stump if you could, Richard?
Well, I mean, it kind of the only way is to try and reduce its spread underground, but you don't know where it's gone already, so it's very difficult to maximize any sort of effect of what you're doing would be to remove that as well. I think probably, if you could. But
you're not going to be able to remove all the roots of the tree.
No, well, that is the problem, and it's come from somewhere. It's either spread from another tree locally to it, or it could have come in. But as you said, you've got other trees here now with, it looks like it's done it to it, so it's probably quite widespread.
So just seeing that there means that should I save these branches that have got the young growth?
I would say it's going to kill everything eventually on this tree. So
it will eventually,
yeah.
But is there any harm in keeping those little shoots going, maybe getting a few more apples over the next few years?
You could, but I think for safety wise, I would get rid of it.
Yeah. Now, as somebody who's got as a mica file, and I know a lot about mushrooms,
yeah.
I don't think removing the tree or the stump is going to stop the spread of this fungus. We've got a mycologist behind the camera. Attila, do you think that this fungus is now here to stay, whether we remove the tree and the roots or not?
Well, I never heard that anyone was successful enough to completely remove the risk just by removing the whole tree and the stump, but that's a good start for sure.
You think it would help?
It would help slow down the infection, but that's still no guarantee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Well, on a bright note, honey fungus has probably been on the British Isles for longer than humans, and it's probably killed less trees in that time than humans have. So it's a part of our natural ecosystem. It weeds out the old and infirm trees. This apple tree's how old would you give us an estimate, Richard? How old would you say this tree was?
I tell you, it's quite a girth at the bottom there. It's
100 years old.
I don't know if it's quite that old, but it is a good age.
It's a good age.
It is a very good age.
And it's obviously seen some hard times. There's some branches that are damaged, and it's not got any canker on it as far as you could tell.
No, I couldn't see any at the time. No, when we looked, it was just the what's dead already.
But there are some other fungal infections on the tree, as I've already mentioned.
Yeah, there's some on the dead branches there. There's things growing, aren't there?
And as
it's
far
not
as-
very healthy.
It's not, it's an old tree.
Mm.
It's an old tree that has seen better days. Now, when I remove this, are there any species that you know that I could put back here that are maybe a little bit more resistant to honey fungus?
I don't know the answer to that.
No? So
I
woody
think
perennials?
No, there's no woody thing. It'll could spread into your shrubs, and so once you've got it here, it's very difficult to plant something like that again.
Okay,
With
so
any success, it's likely to get it.
no woody perennials in this area for a little while.
Well, yeah, no, that's probably the best plan.
I have read that mulberry and walnut are slightly more resistant to honey fungus. Is that something that you know about in your experience?
It's worth a try. I do know of areas that have got the honey fungus, and there are mulberries close by, and they've survived.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the possibility. Yeah.
So can I get a cutting off of your mulberry tree at your house at some point?
Well, we can give it a go.
Get
See if we
everyone
got
the
any
case.
success.
All right, so honey fungus. This is a lovely mushroom if you're a forager to eat. It has a particularly lovely, rich, mushroomy smell. But as a forager, like I said at the beginning, just be aware that this is a mushroom that can cause a little bit of gastric upset in some people, so don't eat a lot of it if you try it. And if you do find it in your garden on one of your favourite trees like I did yesterday, then it is a sad day, but it's just part of the natural cycles of our ecosystem. This one, Armillaria ostoi, is one of the 3/4 species of honey fungus that we get in the UK. We get the more common one, Armillaria millea, and then you've got Armillaria gallica, both of which are a bit lighter in colour than this one here. And then there is one that's been farmed off into another genus, the ringless honey fungus, which is now Desarmillaria tibescens. I'm going to chuck in some photos now of mature honey fungus so that you can see how it grows. It grows in giant tufts out of dead bits of wood, and it's a mushroom that you might find growing singly as the rhizomorphs underground spread. So you might see one like the photo that you're looking at now, just coming up in the middle of a bit of grassland. Apparently the Armillaria gallica is the one that tends to grow singly in amongst trees. So if you see that, it's more likely to be the gallica than the other species. They're all, as I said, good tasting edible fungus, but they are certainly not what you want to see on your favourite apple trees in your garden. So I'm afraid it sounds like, Richard, are you in agreement? Is it time to get the chainsaw out?
Yeah, I think it's time to go, this one.
All right, okay. Well, there's two benefits for that. First of all, I'm going to get a lot of firewood for winter, and also I'm going to get a little bit of extra light on my lovely greenhouse over there. So, you know, try to look on the bright side, guys. Anyway, if you want to find out more, go to wildfooduk.com. I would advertise Richard's company, but he's got too much work on at the moment, so he'd actually prefer me not to. Anyway, thank you very much, Richard.
Oh, you're welcome. Right, Barlow, can you take me to the pub now?